It's always a pleasure to come your way on Sundays here with Scorecard on Citi TV. My name is Benjamin Nketia. A lot happening on the world of sports as far as the competitions are concerned, or if I would say in the world of sports. Now, Manchester City have been crowned champions of the Premier League with 3 matches to spare. It just tells you how dominant they've been in the Premier League. When you go to the Bundesliga, Bayern Munich have ensured that the Bundesliga will be sumptuous heading into the final day of matches. Borussia Dortmund have a date with Mainz, and I believe Bayern have a date with Cologne. So that should be interesting for the final round of matches. When you go to the NBA, it's absolutely fascinating. The Denver Nuggets are looking to sweep the Lakers. A lot of questions to be answered. We'll see if we can answer some of those. And if you like your boxing, Devin Haney was up against Lomachenko this weekend. A very, very competitive bout. A lot of people split on how that bout should have gone. Lomachenko was really emotional after the bout. We'll see if we can make sense of all of that. So a lot to chew on as far as sports this weekend is concerned. Let's take a quick break. When we come back, I'll introduce my gentleman and then we can start munching on this weekend's action. Welcome back to Scorecard here on Citi TV. My good friends are in the studio. Susu Graham of Citi Sports, Coach Christopher Nimley of Citi Sports as well. Gentlemen, it's good to have you on the show.
Yeah, Charlie, it's always a pleasure when it's Sunday around this time.
Yeah.
Nice day to end the weekend.
Exactly.
I know. Round up everything.
Yeah, we are so eager because we know people out there are waiting.
Exactly. And for those of you out there watching us from whichever part in this country, send us your messages, send us some feedback as well. Those of us who watch from across the continent, Uganda, Senegal, Gambia, Togo, Benin, wherever you are, feel free to send us your opinion, send us some feedback as well. We'd love to hear from you. Let's get into today's conversation, and let's start off with the Wafu Zombi. So women's football taking center stage again. It's a new competition of some sorts. Ghana were up against Benin. We won that game comfortably. Let me just get to the highlights of this one first. We'll come in studio and then you can share your thoughts with us. So let's get to the highlights of Ghana versus Benin on that particular competition. So Ghana winning that game comfortably by 3 goals to 0. Yusuf Basigi doubles as Hazakes ladies head coach and also head coach of the Princesses. Coach, quick thoughts on this one. Played in Kumasi. A lot of interest across board generally. People like Ibrahim Sanidara working for CAF has come all the way down to actually watch this tournament. So it looks like a tournament with a lot of interest, but just snap thoughts on the outcome.
You see, we are hosting the tournament.
Yeah.
So without a doubt, we are expected to qualify to the Afcon at that age level, under 20. Once this team is being coached by an established coach, we all know what Bazigi does.
Yeah.
I think he's the best women's coach we have
in the country. Yeah.
He understands the girls. He knows what they are
doing this for close to 15 or 20 years.
That is it. So he's that type of manager.
Yeah.
And for me, I'm happy for him. I can only hope that the FA will support him in thick and thin. Because at the end of the day, this game is not the benchmark.
Yeah.
The real threat is there. I don't know how many teams are going to qualify. Only 2 or 1, I don't know. But if it's going to be 1, then we are in big trouble because the people are in the tournament.
Yeah.
You know whom those I'm referring to.
Yeah.
They will give us a better opposition. The Nigerians, they are there. They are always the benchmark. They are always the standard you have to look up to. And I've always said that because of the new format of qualification, if we don't take care, we'll end up not going to any of this juvenile competition simply because we need to go past the Nigerians.
Yeah.
And since we knocked them out of the FIFA World Cup, I mean the senior edition, in every competition where we have to compete with them for a slot, they've beaten us and they've taken the slot away from us.
Even for even being fair, even the men's one, we were lucky to qualify.
Exactly.
Let's be very honest.
Of course, truth be told,
Yep.
On that day they were by far the better side. They just didn't take their chances.
The keeper didn't save 1 shot and we qualify on our way goals.
There you go. So we need to take this tournament very serious. Because look, another reason why we need to take this tournament very serious is that, don't forget, this team is supposed to feed the Black Queens.
Yeah.
We've been banned for 3
under
editions
17.
for the under 17. So that one, we are not going to partake. So if we don't get to where this team really need to get to, then at the end of the day, the Black Queens
Will
are going
suffer.
to, they're already suffering. Because I don't see how, because right now, look, on the continent, if you really want to qualify to the World Cup, senior level women's division, there's Cameroon, there's Nigeria,
South Africa.
there's South Africa.
Yeah.
These three countries.
And Nigeria is boasting of strikers playing for Barcelona.
I think even Morocco now has started.
Morocco now.
Yep.
So it is not something that we are going to get on the silver platter. So we need to put our house in order, plan properly, and move on with whatever we want to do.
Well, women's football is at least making some strides. I feel like the few stakeholders in the women's game are trying their best to make things happen. We can do more, certainly. We used to be such a pace setter in the women's game. Everybody else has caught up now. So we'll see how this tournament plays out. Let's get to the male under-17 Afcon, which was happening. Now, Senegal were in the final with Morocco. It was a really good final. Senegal showing great showing. Basically, like I said, that they've completed African football. Everything to pick up, beach soccer, Afcon,
Under 20,
CHAN, everything. They've done it all. And they've added the under-17 to that growing list as well. So let's check out the highlights of the final. We'll see what we can pick out of it. So Senegal picking up the trophy. They're ecstatic, of course, at the achievement. Big deal for them. Big strides for them as well. Quick thoughts on Senegal. They are doing it again. This under-17 tournament, you could just see from the get-go that they were going to be one of the better teams. Did I expect them to make a final again? Maybe yes, maybe no, but they've done it. And we always say that it's not about winning the tournament at this level, but I mean, it does help if you win it all the same.
Yeah, and correct me if I'm wrong, they won the under-20 this year too, right?
Yep.
They won the CHAN.
That's
Won the CHAN, won the main Afcon.
Yeah, that's. I mean, what more can we say?
Yeah.
Right now, it's their continent. We are just.
And
we are
ironically, they've done it all with local coaches. Every single one of it. From the national team, the CHAN, the under-20, the under-17, all local coaches.
I mean, Ghana, we won an Afcon with a foreign coach before.
Never.
I mean, look, but this is just planning because you don't win at all levels by chance. You can say maybe one level is chance, but when it's at all levels like this, this is planning. This is.
Everybody's on the same page.
They know what they are doing.
Yeah.
And the fact that Morocco are also going far in these tournaments.
Very noteworthy.
Yeah, it's like Morocco keep losing at the final head or just before. So
Meaning
it's not
that
like
in the next tournaments, they probably build on the
and
success
the
from
CHAN,
that.
they didn't play because of a whole political kind of thing. But
Exactly.
luckily, this was also hosted in Algeria. And I guess Algeria maybe was, after the last one, they've worked out a system to let the Moroccans come and play. So you can see that both countries have a plan. And Morocco's plan, we saw it at the World Cup. So I'm happy to see that some countries are doing things right. Hopefully, they're able to take this to the Under-20 World Cup and make a difference. Under-17 World Cup is being played. We'll see how the African teams do by the end of it. But it's important because at the men's game, usually Under-17 and Under-20 level, African teams have won. They can win. But when we get to the senior level, it seems like there's a disconnect. Morocco have crossed that semi-final barrier. Hopefully more teams will come back. It's a sign of progress. But let's see how they do in the tournament. But the one thing I'll say is both teams need to work on their set-piece defending because the 2 goals they each conceded from set pieces in this final is not great. So if you go at that level where you are playing a tournament when the margins are thin, you don't want to be conceding easy goals from set pieces. But like I said, this winning at this level is more a testament to a plan and organization more than anything because it's a 2-year gap. You might have 1 or 2 outstanding talents, but it's not the way a national team
They have
can
a guy called Amara Diouf. He's 14 years old. 14. He has completely dazzled in the competition.
You get 1 or 2 players
4 goals
like
to his
that,
credit.
but in general, it's all about the planning and that kind of stuff. So we just have to congratulate them because winning at all levels is a testament to the FA's good work, and that's what we want to see for us as well.
You see, like you rightly said, from the very moment they kicked the ball in that first game, they were by far the better team of the tournament. Look, they went through the entire group stage without conceding a goal. So it tells you that collectively as a unit, these young boys have been coached. They knew what they were doing. Look, I watched the final.
The chemistry is so good together.
Absolutely brilliant. I watched the final. When they considered the first goal, you could clearly see that they didn't panic. All the coach did was to come to the touchline and told all of them to calm down because the coach himself knew that they were by far the better team of the tournament.
Yeah.
And once they got their rhythm going, look, the Moroccans, credit must be given to them. They did extremely well, but the pressure was incessant.
Yeah.
Absolutely unbearable.
I feel like the Senegalese were more athletic, and I don't understand that.
They had power.
Yeah.
They had proper skill.
Yeah.
And they have
for under 17.
Look, very focused on the job, and it's like they knew what they were doing. When they got the ball at the back, you could clearly see the transition. For me, if players are, like we always say, it's about the development. It's about what they do as they enter into the next challenge, which would be obviously the under-20 team, and then, of course, the national team proper. You could clearly see that there's a brand of football being played by all the Senegalese.
Every single one of them.
From the senior level to the CHAN, to the under-20, to the under-17. You can clearly see the transition of what they're going to do.
I can't remember a point where one African team has dominated our
No, this is the first time it's happened.
I can't
It's
remember.
historic.
This is the very first time it has happened. I've been following football for over 30
very
years.
historic.
This is the first time it's happened.
They've
And for
won
me,
everything there is to win.
Go and look at the investment.
And they've added beach
From the
soccer,
FA.
just to show that it's not just normal football. They've added beach soccer just
They've
to
added
show.
beach soccer to it.
Yeah.
And you see, it is the proper planning by whoever is leading the football. They show faith in Aliou Cisse.
Yeah.
Some people say, sack him.
Yeah.
The man say, look, the project is such that he will win something. You see the moment he set the tone,
They've had patience for
they've
him.
had patience for him, and they've all
They've
won.
backed him.
They've won
And I love how their ex-players have also backed the
Yes.
operation.
They've also, you see,
Khalil Fadiga.
Tony Silva.
when Stephen
they've all
Appiah
been-
talks about ex-players
Allowing
being
ex-players
allowed to get closer, the football people think that he should go. It's not about going to educate yourself. You don't teach Stephen Appiah how to talk to a young, talented footballer. He needs not. What is better? What level of education is better than the man living the game before? This is somebody who is played at the highest level. That's why for me, I'm sad.
You don't even need him to do an administrative. You can have him as a team manager, as a coach.
Today, we know who the team manager of the Black Stars is. What can you sincerely? He's my very good friend. He's watching the program. But do you sincerely think that he has what it takes to talk to the players?
I mean, obviously,
There's
Stephen Appiah's voice will have more influence.
So what we are saying is that, look, I would have preferred that my good friend would have learned the trade. Maybe for now, put him at under 17, put him at under 20. But for somebody who has never managed any of our national team, you just lift him up because he's very close to the FA president, straight to the senior national team. It doesn't work like that. Nowhere in the world would you have such a thing being put in place or implemented. But that is Ghana for you. It is Ghana for you. And look, it's a bit sad that as a Ghanaian, I see countries like Senegal dominating the continent of Africa. And we are nowhere to be found. Yes, of all these years, they've just won only one Afcon.
Okay. Interesting thoughts there on Senegal and their dominance on the continent. Like I said, there are always lessons that can be learned. Let's get to the CAF Champions League. Good games have been happening. Esperance de Tunis have been up against Al Ali Football Club. Al Ali are royalty as far as the CAF Champions League is concerned. They are back in the final. In the other game, it was Wydad taking on Mamelodi Sundowns. Remember that we were here last week paying glowing tribute to Mamelodi Sundowns on how they managed to hold their own goalless with a man down or two men down, I believe, something of the sort. They managed to go back home and conceded two costly goals. Let's check out the highlights back-to-back of those two games. So Mamelodi Sundowns there, not taking home advantage seriously. El Ali back in the final. Coach, let me start off with you. So two giants. Looks like we have ourselves a all North African final. It happens a lot in this competition, actually.
To be honest, look, to be honest with you, I really didn't want that to happen. So I was terribly disappointed
in Sundowns.
Because, like I said last week, I watched that first leg when they went to Wydad. And the manner in which they played, the composure, going the man down, two men down, yet still they were able to calm themselves and play as if it was 11v11. I expected them to win at all costs. But from what I saw, it was like a bit of complacency set in now. We are the home team. Come what may, will get a job
We're able
done.
to,
If you
if,
look
if
at the
we're able
highlight,
to do 2 men down with that goalless result.
11v11 will get them sorted out. Look at the highlight. There was a chance where the Wadak player came from behind and went past the Sundown
defender.
You myself, I said, what is wrong with him?
That was terrible.
What is wrong with him?
Yeah.
And then the moment such things starts happening, you take away the belief from the group, and then individual errors start occurring. Even the goal that they conceded, they were individual mistakes. I thought that, look, they had the support, there was everything to play for. This is a team that is highly motivated to go all out and challenge.
Motepe will be disappointed.
He'll be absolutely downhearted, without a doubt. Yeah. And look, on the part of Elali, the least said about them, it is becoming unbecoming of them, isn't it?
I love
They've been to like 14 finals. They've won like 10 or something.
That's what I'm saying.
I love their adherence to excellence. They don't tolerate mediocrity in the least bit. At all. I mean, if they have one,
some South African coach had been doing very well.
Yeah,
Pizzo. They had Pizzo Mosemani. They had Pizzo for like a while.
Then they got rid of
He went to multiple finals. He won
back to back.
He won it
twice with them.
In the one season where he got knocked out, they fired him.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
And they did the same with Shehata. Shehata won them a lot of trophies.
Yes.
When he couldn't get it done,
they fired him. And it tells you of because look, the level of investment that is put into that team. They can go out there and buy a 5 million euros player, $5 million.
They have a whole Ali village.
Where the team
composed of women's basketball, men's basketball,
brilliant.
hockey. It's absolutely crazy.
Look, and Nketia, for me, anytime I get a chance to talk about these things, I want to let the football people understand that this is where the game is now.
We need to close the gap.
We need to close the gap. As it stands, we are 15 years off the standard. 15 years behind the gap. God bless the day I see a Ghanaian team compete at this level.
Semi-finals.
This quality. Look, I watched almost the 2 semi-finals. Look, it reminded me of the Hasselhoff of 2000.
Yeah, you said that last.
This was how good our club
used to be.
The question is, what has gone wrong? You don't cry over spilt milk, or you don't cry over the things that have gone wrong. What even hurts is the fact that we are doing absolutely nothing to close the gap, to get back to where we were.
Infrastructure-wise,
officiating-wise. Look,
marketing even. I think
everything is so bad. And for me, look, our game will have to improve. If we don't have, I think we don't have the right person managing our game. The time has come. Any time I get the opportunity, I will say it. The time has come for the football people to give themselves a better leader, somebody who has got proper planning, who knows not only how to plan, but how to implement. Somebody who will not be auditioning boreholes at a much more expensive, higher price than what GMPC is even doing for the people of this, for the villages in Ghana. You go and you audition. We don't need that. Focus on the game.
We need to go.
Focus on the game. We are lacking behind, and it's painful. It hurts. It hurts.
The CAF Champions League is a big competition. When you get to the semi-final, you can imagine how much money you'll be making for your
good
club.
money.
Let's go for a break. When we come back, we'll get into some European football. It's been a magical season for Manchester City. Still have a Champions League final to play. Still have an FA Cup final to play. They wrapped up the league without even kicking a ball this weekend. I was interested in seeing Raheem Sterling give his former teammates a guard of honor. It was pretty funny for me, but let's take a break, and when we come back, we'll get into those highlights. Welcome back to Scorecard here on Citi TV. I'll be getting to my message box in a bit, but let's turn our attention now to the English Premier League, and congratulations to Manchester City for doing the three-peat. So Pep Guardiola has now won 3 titles on a bounce. I mean, you can say all you want, but he's basically turned the Premier League into what we've all feared, a farmers' league. It's 5 titles in 7 seasons. So it's utter dominance from Manchester City. Liverpool were hoping to give themselves a chance to qualify to the Champions League. It was not the best effort, but it was a departing Roberto Firmino who actually saved their blushes on the day. We'll check out that one. We'll check out Man United versus AFC Bournemouth. Casemiro showing that he can be a striker if he wants. Back-to-back highlights we'll come back in studio and discuss. So in that game between AFC Bournemouth and Man United, Bournemouth could easily have walked away with something. United did threaten, but really not anything to write home about after that goal that they scored. They managed to grind it out. All that mattered in the end. They need just a point from the rest of the 2 matches left to be able to secure Champions League football, meaning that Liverpool need both United and Newcastle to at least lose the next 2 games. I don't think that's even going to happen.
No, that will not happen.
Coach, let's start off with that United game. Obviously, Champions League football almost secured. Ten Hag will be happy with the progress made.
Sure.
Let's talk about individual performances. Sancho, I noticed, caught a lot of heat from United fans this weekend about, some said that there's a lack of willingness to improve on his side. Some said that his game has generally not contributed to the overall well-being of the team. In your opinion, what does the young man need to do? Because came in for big money, the expectations were huge for him. It looks like he risks becoming an afterthought, if you could put it that way.
Look, truth be told, I think next season will be his last season to convince not only the Man United faithful, including myself, but this manager who has shown that if he gives you the opportunity and you don't take the bull by the horn and get the job done, he's going to relegate you to the bench. I don't know what his problems are, but the fact of the matter is he
was dropped for the World Cup. He took,
exactly.
I don't know if it was a sabbatical or
2-3 months
mental break,
and at the manager's expense. So it is clear that Eric Ten Hag knows that there is there's a player in there.
We saw him at those.
Okay,
very talented.
we saw there's a player in there. There's a good talent in there. There's a player who can do the unexpected.
Is it a case of coming to play in a league with higher standard defenders, where the things he could do to get by in Germany, the standards are just higher now, so he can't get by with those things here?
That is one of the reasons. But with the talent he's got, you expect him to be able to adjust. Okay. Because he's that good when he's on form. Okay? What he needs to do, personally, in my view, is to work on his fitness. It is like anytime the ball gets to him, he slows the game down and he allows the opponent quickly to recover, and that makes his work difficult. Opponents know that he's that skillful, so they don't actually leave him on a 1v1 situation. They tend to double up on him, and they are being successful in doing so because when he gets the ball, compare him to Alejandro Garnacho. When Garnacho came into the game yesterday, in the few time that he spent in the game, he had run at the fullback more than Jadon Sancho did in the entire 70 or 75 minutes that he was on the pitch.
And Garnacho is actually very direct. He doesn't
Exactly.
He doesn't dilly-dally with the ball. He gets the
At
ball,
all.
run
And
at the
the
open
question
end
is,
defense.
can Sancho do? Yes, he can do so because we've seen him do so.
He has the pace. He has the skill.
Over the,
He has the technique.
Exactly. So look, he needs to improve. If he doesn't improve, clearly, because this coach believes that there's a player in there who can get better. Eric Ten Hag has clearly outlined those he's going to sell and those who are going to stay. On the game itself, it was job done. Look, as it stands now, beauty doesn't matter. Total dominance does not matter. It's about getting the job done. And getting the job done means that you need to be able to win at all costs and get 3 maximum points. So I remember when United bought Carlos Casemiro, I said, this is a born winner. You see, he's a born winner and he understands how football games are to be won. When Ten Hag was asked, he said, Casemiro keeps surprising. He said, yes. He's a very good reader of the game. He does lots of interception. But the training regime that he takes them through allows Casemiro to also move into the box on the blind side of the opponent. Because if you look at the Bournemouth pitch, it's one of those very small pitches. So once they stay compact, it becomes very difficult to play through them.
And this is something he did well at Real Madrid.
Exactly.
I mean, he would appear out of nowhere into the box, late balls,
late headers
yeah.
into the box, bang into the back of the net. So that is it. United, without a doubt, will make top four. I've never doubted their ability to make top four. And I want to
back in the Champions League.
Of course, I want to credit Eric Ten Hag because Man United are coming from their worst ever season in the Premiership, where they accumulate, I think, 58 points over 38 games.
And their goal difference was it 0 or
zero.
-1?
Or -1, something like that. As we stand, from 58 to 69, there's the possibility that they can get to what, 75. That is a huge jump. But the fact is, there's somebody in blue, in sky blue, who is breaking the record every now and then. I'm happy that there's a pace setter. When Alex Ferguson was there, United was the pace setter. Thanks to the Glazers, we are no longer the pace setters. They have to sell the team quick. Because the way Man City are going, it's not going to take Liverpool. It's not going to take maybe Newcastle. Look, most people have not realized
Newcastle are about to flex their muscles.
Newcastle will be the one to match Man City because it's all about wealth.
Listen to what's going on. I've heard whispers that they are attempting to hire Jose Mourinho.
Yes, you see, it is all about wealth.
Yep.
Newcastle have got money. Man City have got money. As we speak, the news coming in today is that Qatar has signaled to Glazers that, look, if you guys are not going to decide on whether to sell the team or not, they want to go after West Ham.
Yeah,
they want to go and buy West Ham.
They're basically looking to spread
because
their interest.
You have to decide and let the team move on. And look, it will be suicidal if the Glazers don't sell Man United. For once, we are pleading with them to do things for the team so that we'll compete with Man City. Pep Guardiola is a good coach.
I like how passionate the play is.
Pep Guardiola is a very good, nobody's going to take that away from him. But the hypocrisy from people like Gary Neville, Rio Ferdinand, Man United is self-sufficient. They can. Who told you Man City is not self-sufficient? Who told you Newcastle is not self-sufficient? But there's nothing wrong with them being owned and financed by the state. If Man United, look, if Qatar doesn't buy United, you see, if they go after West Ham, none of them will condemn Qatar buying West Ham. Is it because it's United? They should leave our team for us and let us have our Qatar and have our peace and challenge Pep Guardiola.
Interesting thoughts from Coach there, especially on the ownership issues. But just snap thoughts on Sancho too. I mean, just quick thoughts on him, and then we'll talk about the Liverpool Villa game.
I think his style is he has more of a he and the fullback like to interplay and that kind of stuff. And because he's played a lot on the right, when he was playing on the right last season, Wan-Bissaka wasn't really offering that. Now he's coming on the left. He sure does offer that sometimes, but I think part of it, I think Sancho right now he lacks confidence.
That is the big
It's a very big problem. He lacks confidence, and he's not getting a long run in the team. Anthony has come and is doing decently on the right. Rashford is in great form on the left, so there's no space for him. So when he comes in and he's not able to influence the game and make things happen, it's very easy for the coach to say, "This guy's
You're not doing well enough."
I have other people on their bench, and I think right now.
And Garnacho is not making his case any better because every time he's introduced into a game, he's either scoring, he's assisting, or he's impacting the game.
So if you are Ten Hag, it's getting harder and harder to give Sancho the game time he needs. But a lot of it is confidence. So it's a weird situation where he has to play to pick up his confidence. But there's better players there. So why would you let the better players not play for someone who is not impacting the game? So I think confidence is the main thing.
Look,
and I don't know where he'll get that confidence.
Just this point. Apart from Harry Maguire,
Ten
Hag has made every player he came to meet better. He's improved Lindelof. He's improved Wan-Bissaka. He's made Luke Shaw better as a fullback. Every player. Look at Rashford. Rashford last year by now, every United fan wanted him sold. Look at the impact he's had on Marcus Rashford. So apart from Harry Maguire, so Sancho should try hard not to join Maguire.
Well, it looks like
he's been sold.
At this point, he's joined him. Talk to me about Liverpool real quick. I mean, destiny in the hands of other teams, on the brink of playing in the Europa League. Roberto Firmino leaving. A lot of storylines coming together for them. What's their takeaway? Because season is almost over.
It's been a tough one for Liverpool. I don't know what it is about this Liverpool team. It's like they'll do well one season now. The next season they'll fall off. Come back. I'm expecting a very big season from them next season based on their pattern. Because if you remember, when Van Dijk first got injured, they struggled, ended up fourth, came back with a vengeance. That's when they challenged for the title, won the cups. They've fallen asleep again. So maybe they'll come back again stronger. But it's not sustainable to play like that. You need to have that consistency and keep up. And I think trying to keep up with Man City has finished a lot of the players in this squad physically and mentally. I think that's part of it. And no, it's the truth because, Coach said, they are the pace setters. But their pace setting, I don't know what it is about them. It's like they are superhuman. So if you are Liverpool and you are just a tier below, it just takes a lot. Because look at Fabinho right now. The guy is like he's aged 5 years in 3.
Yes, so you have to blame the coach for that.
Yeah.
You have to blame.
Should have had backup for him to be able to keep him fresh.
Look at Pep Guardiola. He can afford to rest 7 players, and then he bring in 7.
Yeah,
the standard never drops. And so, yeah, look, I think Liverpool will be far, far better next season because the problem is now skewed towards the midfield.
Yeah,
there's no defensive issues. Maybe Alexander-Arnold.
They might want to buy a backup right back.
He doesn't have a backup.
He needs to support him at the back.
Yeah.
And then I think they have to sell Matip and then get another centre back.
Matip is actually leaving. I think he's leaving on a free or something.
Exactly.
Like that.
And then they need to get 2 decent workaholics in midfield.
CMs, okay.
They need to move because if you are letting Milner is gone, Keita is gone, he needs replacing.
Yeah.
Oxlade-Chamberlain
is gone, he needs replacing. So because Pep will bully everybody who don't have depth. It's about the depth in quality.
Right now, at the front, you can see there's a lot of options.
So that place is settled.
They'll probably have to get one striker to kind of...
I don't think...
I mean, if Firmino is leaving...
I just thought about it. They don't even need a striker. They probably need maybe another person who can play on the right just to back up Salah.
Mohamed Salah,
That's
exactly.
It. And then I think the midfield is where things
need
to change. But going to that, we'll see if they get a new midfield. I think there'll be a bit more energy because I think right now when you regularly see Henderson, Milner, Fabinho, guys who can barely move, Thiago.
Yeah, let's talk about that because it looks like talk about McAllister has gained momentum now.
I think we're another level.
I'm hearing what 80 million pounds, 70 million pounds. Talk to me about the fee first of all, and secondly, is he the profile of player that they need to at least begin to rebuild this midfield?
I think McAllister works because he is a workaholic. He's an all-round midfielder. You've seen him play in a double pivot. You've seen him play as a number 10. You've seen him play as a number 8. He has that versatility. So if you put him in the Liverpool midfield, if you want him to make the late runs, he will do it. If you want him to sit and move the ball, control the ball, he will do it. If he even needs to play as a 6 in an emergency, he can do it. It won't be the best use of him, but he can do it. So I think he's a very good pickup in that sense.
Yeah.
And the fee, it is what it is. You are buying from a team that's settled. A team that's going to be probably playing the same Europa League as you. Why would they sell one of their top players? You have to pay big money to get Premier League players now. And that's the thing about Brighton. They know what they are doing. When they scout these players, they know that, look, eventually they will go, but we will get full maximum value for them. So if you are paying that 80 million for McAllister, you have to understand that that's because Brighton are in no rush to sell. And the players also understand that, look, this is a good project. We are going somewhere. Eventually, we'll get somewhere, but there has to be a good fee for the clubs. If a team is willing to pay that fee, I would say 80 million is steep, but that's the way of the Premier. If you are buying from the Premier League, that's what it is. If you want to get a lower fee...
And the word is that Liverpool want at least 3 new midfielders. You're saying, there are about 3 departures or at least 2 departures.
And that's the thing. If you want to pay less, you have to look on continental Europe. You can get quality midfielders for 30, 40, sometimes even 20 million. But that's a bit more work in terms of scouting and the settling. Because look at Naby Keita. Naby Keita looked amazing in the Bundesliga. We thought Naby Keita was going to take the league by storm. It did not happen.
Never took off.
It never took off. So there is some weight in buying a player who's already in the league and proving himself.
And he's had his best goal scoring season, I believe, this time around.
And that's always an advantage, buying a player who knows the league well. It definitely costs more because the Premier League has the highest prices, but there's less likelihood of the transfer failing. So you have to consider the pros and the cons. But if you're in a situation where you see a team that's getting 90 points regularly, and that's where you have to chase,
you have to be ready to spend.
And the one thing about McAllister is he's very durable. Barely ever gets to the back. I mean, from the tactical point, I'll just come to you. You watched him at the World Cup. You've seen him in the league this season. What does he bring to the table that clubs should be excited about?
Look, he's a brave young lad. Okay, for some.
I believe he's 24 years?
Yeah, 24 years. He's very brave. He's not afraid of risking the pass. He's not afraid of putting in those tackles. He's not afraid of doing the odd things. You see, in the modern game, if you want to be a very established player, there are times where you have to step out there and do the odd things. The things that or midfielders will hardly do. That is what you want to be seen doing. And the beauty of that young chap is the fact that he's a workaholic. Look, we saw him in the World Cup. He was always involved in every attacking build-up of Argentina.
Yeah.
If you look at him at Brighton,
Yeah.
when he plays alongside Moise Caicedo,
Yeah.
he's the one giving the license to
move.
go box to box. And he's always involved in the attacking trend. He
So
can
at
strike
Argentina,
the ball.
he had Rodrigo de Paul and
Yeah.
Enzo Fernandez.
And Enzo Fernandez, he can strike the ball from distance.
Yeah.
He can pass the ball short, long, 60, 70,
Yeah.
80 yards. He's got a technique to hit those long
I'll be
passes.
honest, when I think about everything he does, he reminds me of Luka Modric. He's
Exactly.
not on that level yet. But
like a
very-
poor man's Luka Modric.
Exactly.
That's a good way. He's
And
very
look,
similar
he
to
can-
Modric.
I think he's not the finished article yet. He can
I
still
mean, he's
get
not
better.
even hit his peak yet.
Yes,
so
I mean,
there's
he's-
still-
I mean, at
Get better.
24,
At
there's
24.
definitely a lot he can
He
learn.
can
That's
still
why
learn.
I say he reminds me of Modric, because Modric has that same kind of.
You could see
running
the
around.
progression.
He's not afraid to
He can
tackle.
pass, he
He's
can
fast.
shoot a little, can
And
tackle
I
a
think-
little.
And I think, to be honest, I think he has more goals in him than Modric. Because
Exactly.
Modric was never a
A
goal
goal
scorer.
scorer.
He's got 10 goals this season?
Yeah, but he does play penalties, to be
Look,
fair.
but and that's the sort of player Jurgen Klopp should go for. Look, truth be told,
Yeah.
Eric Ten Hag has also recommended him. The problem with United
Yeah,
is that,
Manchester City have looked at it.
yes, the problem with United is that there isn't an owner yet. United was using the Martinez
Yeah.
Argentine
Yeah.
road to see what it was. If the Glazers decides today
Yeah.
that they are selling the team and there's there's an established owner, if Liverpool doesn't pay the money, there'll be serious competition for McAllister. He's a very, very good player.
So that's the word on Alexis McAllister. A lot to look forward to as far as the young man is concerned. Let's get to some more highlights that took place this weekend. Manchester City were up against Chelsea Football Club. It was an interesting game. Arsenal were up against Nottingham Forest, and we said that there was no way Arsenal were going to lose against Nottingham Forest, but Forest wanted to be safe before heading into the final day of matches, and so they managed to beat Arsenal in that game. Let's get to the highlights of those two games. First, we'll get to Forest versus Arsenal, and then we'll check out Manchester City on Coronation Day. So Arsenal losing to Nottingham Forest. And so let me start with you on that one. Arsenal are just all over the place. They did what coach has been recommending for the longest time, playing Jorginho and Partey together. Even that didn't help. It was a game where they barely created anything meaningful.
No, we have to put Arsenal's second half of the season into context, because I think when you compare the first half and the second half,
Yeah.
it's been amazing, the difference. You go from getting 50 points
In the first
half of the
19
season,
games.
and you're going to end the season max 84. That's a huge drop off. Think about it. That means you are going to pick up 70% of the points you picked up in the first half. And that's the thing. I think getting 81 points at this stage of the season for us now
is a big deal.
A big deal. It's still a huge improvement. But considering that the first half of the season you got 50, it's painful. I think they've lost gas. I think one of the main reasons is Bukayo Saka. I think he's lost a lot of gas, because I don't remember the last time he had a good game.
Yeah.
I think between now,
is he gassed? Has he hit what you call the rookie wall if this was basketball?
I don't know what it is, but I think this is the end of May.
Yeah.
I think between, let's say, late February and now, the last 3 months, he's had maybe 2 or 3 good games.
Look,
at best.
I agree with Susu, but it should be, the blame should go to the manager. Because look, he's a young lad.
Yeah.
At his age, he's not going to guarantee you.
He's what, 20 years?
He's 21.
Yeah, he's not going to guarantee you consistency.
Coach, I'm not saying this is for. I'm just saying
Um,
that
yeah,
these are the
no.
factors.
Yeah.
One
Yeah,
of the
yeah.
main
I mean,
factors.
is, that,
but
is,
they really
is the
relied on
duty
him.
of the manager to
To
rotate the
manage the
player?
The
situation.
truth is, they don't
have
Trossard
enough-
should have been playing a few more games.
That is
on
what
the
I'm
right,
saying.
for
That
example.
I
But
blame the manager.
the manager
because, look,
doesn't trust him
There is
on the
this
right.
boy, the one there,
Nelson.
He should have shown good faith in
even
some of
Gabriel
these lads.
Jesus can play on the right,
Exactly.
and you put Nketiah or Jesus.
So he
To
should
the
have
middle.
managed the
And then he
rotation
should-
better.
He should have managed the rotation better.
Saka has been playing and playing and playing, and nothing has come of
Once
it.
he's fit, he plays. And that, like I'm saying, for young players, okay, that was what Man United did. That has actually destroyed Martial and nearly destroyed Marcus Rashford. You don't put the burden of carrying a huge team like Arsenal on the shoulders of a 21-year-old. No. There are times where you need to take him. Look at Phil Foden. Look at the way Pep uses Phil Foden. There are times where he takes him off the scene for like 1 month. Then he brings him back. Then he takes him out.
Yeah.
At that age, that is what you do. That is how to manage them. So for me, look, the Arsenal situation could have been managed better. I think if Arteta had shown a bit more conviction in some of the players that he used, somebody like Trossard, when he came, the form with which he came, and the sort of thing that he showed that he could do, I think he should have started more games than he did.
And there's a point where they became predictable for me, where if they were making a sub, you knew that this was going to take out, and then Trossard was going to go play on the left. It was just always
he stuck to the same team.
Yeah.
For over close to 28 games.
Yeah.
If you don't change, the only thing that compelled him to change was injuries. If the players were not injured, you cannot keep them
playing the same.
And let's compare with Pep, who
That's 20 seconds before we go.
System that had Jones. You have a lot to say. So after the break, I think
we'll definitely get into it.
Who came with this new system of John Stones entering the midfield
in the second half of the season?
He basically took Cancelo, who was their main man last season, kind of running the show, most touches, most passes.
That was a big adjustment. Everybody's missing.
He managed to get rid of Cancelo, change the system,
and they didn't suffer a drop off.
They got better.
Yep,
that's the truth.
They actually got better,
and that's their experience. I think Arteta is not there yet, and it's not his fault. But that's
he will learn on the job.
Versus Pep, and Pep adjusting, changing the system, making the team more defensively solid and more physical to try and win the season. And that's just the coaching.
Managerial gymnastics going on there. Let me read a few messages before we take a break. This one here says that I think my Manchester United will play in the UEFA Champions League. I will bounce back to winning trophies under Ten Hag. Say.com inside Asim Fosu. This one says, glad you guys are back on the set. I want to know if Man City wins the Champions League. Does Liverpool get to play in the Champions League? No, it doesn't happen.
You want to use someone's hard work to claim the Champions League.
I enjoyed your analysis on Sunday and Friday, but I want coach to give reasons why he said Madrid will beat City in the second leg, and that City will drop points in the remaining league matches. So a lot to chew on there. This one here says that Chelsea haven't scored a single goal against Man City after winning the Nyame Boame UCL against them. With Sancho, all I say is Guardiola doesn't leave a young talent just like that. Knee for Madabraka with that one. So people have their own theories there. A lot more to come here on the show on Scorecard. We'll get into some talk of La Liga. We'll get into some talk of the Bundesliga as well. So still a lot to chew on. Stay with us. Welcome back to Scorecard here on Citi TV. Now, for the champions Manchester City, they put together a little package documentary on what their journey has been so far. So let's check it out. We'll come back and then we'll get into talk of what has made them such a dominant team. Where does Pep Guardiola rank among the Premier League all-time greats in terms of the managers? So check out this documentary and then we'll come back in studio and continue talking. All I can say is Pep Guardiola has created a monster. If you look at the mentalities of the players in that dressing room, talking about fatigue is not an issue we should be thinking about. If you want to win, you need to power through the fatigue. And coach, you saw it all there. Behind the scenes, players taking pep talks, sometimes taking responsibility. This is as good as it gets.
Yeah, it's a monarch. It's a kingdom. And it will take proper intention and planning.
Yeah, to break
it down or to bring it down. Look, most people don't want to admit it. Congratulations to Pep, to everything they've done.
Yeah.
But they are being able to do the things they are doing because they've got money. Whether you like it or not, football
and they will improve next season because they have money.
Football is now about wealth. If you don't have money, you cannot compete. He could afford to let go of Cancelo, Zinchenko, Gabriel Jesus, Raheem Sterling. 4 of his very good players in the same season. Because he knew or he's aware that when he goes to the owner and say, look, these guys, sell them, give him money, go and add. Do you know how much they spend on Haaland? If you look at the package, it's over 160 million.
Yeah. They've planned for it for a minute.
For a very long time. So they've got money. So at the end of the day, the Liverpool, the Arsenal, the United,
Chelsea have flexed their financial muscle.
They have flexed them, but they don't have a results. So they've got money. In addition to the money, there's a proper footballing structure.
Yeah.
That is what United don't have under the Glazers. That is what Chelsea don't have at the moment under Todd Bowley.
Don't worry, it's coming.
That is what Daniel Levy is struggling to establish at Spurs. That is Liverpool. Yes, they do have.
Yeah.
But it is
Liverpool
the
don't
money.
spend as much. Yeah.
Yeah, it is the money that the American own. I don't know what is wrong with these American owners. They should leave the
They're very
they should sell and go.
profit oriented.
They should sell the team and go because it's about the money they put in their pocket, not about getting the team to win laurels.
They were
on
trying
the
to
pitch.
increase ticket prices. I remember at the
Can you
point,
think- can
and
you
then fans,
imagine
the
that?
fans rebelled.
So so of all the good things that Pep does, fundamentally, they've got cash. Look, I can foresee them buying a proper left back.
They
If
need to fill that
Gundogan
slot.
is to leave,
Yeah.
they'll get a better replacement. All about what? Cash. So all that we are saying is that this league, touted to be the best league competitively, is being turned into a farmers league because there's a team that has got proper wealth and they are investing properly with the proper footballing structure. So if Man United, Liverpool, Arsenal, Chelsea, Newcastle don't want that to continue, this is 5 in what? 7 seasons.
Yep.
It's unacceptable. It cannot be 6 in 8 seasons. It has to stop. And for it to stop, you need to go out there and
spend.
compete, spend, and come in. Because create the depth and quality of your team. So that when they look at Arsenal, Saliba alone got injured.
And then the whole season
8 points lead plus a game in hand. Just
away.
went dead like that.
You know, and
That
that
cannot continue.
Saliba collapse is just to touch on it briefly. It's like Arsenal have conceded in their last 8-9 games about 1/3 of the goals they've conceded this whole season. How?
In the absence of one player. That cannot be the case.
Yeah.
Pep Guardiola can rotate. Today, Diaz will sit down this month. But the standard is still the same.
But I think
Talk to me about the tactical things
I want to just continue on what Coach did, and I'll get to that.
Yeah.
I think the recruitment is the smartest part of the whole
That's
operation.
the footballing
I
structure.
think it's even more
It's
than...
not just about spending.
I think it's even more than...
It's about the structure.
They buy properly.
Let's give example. Look at how much money you have spent on certain players. Just an example. Someone like Harry Maguire, you pay 85
million for this player.
and you can't use him in a high line, but you want to play possession football. You pay so much for Sancho. We don't see him. You can mention quite a number of high profile. And it's like Man City. It's almost like they have a 80%, 90% hit rate that when they buy a player,
It almost work, yeah.
And then you compare them to other top teams. There's a lot of players who come in and you are not seeing
the same
the
impact.
same level. So I think the scouting is the big. Look at Julian Alvarez, a very quiet 17 goals.
River Plate.
This is a player that Ralph Rangnick recommended to the Glazers. Go. How much money did they pay? 15 million.
About 15 million.
50 million.
Someone like that. And look at even Akanji. We saw him at Dortmund. I think a lot of people did not expect Akanji to be as good as he was. Because Akanji has come in and solidified himself as the first choice centre back.
Yeah.
He's played all but one game this season. All but one game. He's consistently just been in the team quietly. He's played right back. He's played left back.
He's played some
centre
DM
back.
as well.
Exactly. Look at the recruitment, because they knew that he would come and fit the system. So they bought him. Everyone was saying, okay, this guy's going to be 4 choice. Look at how he's slotted into the team. Look at the
In
use
fact,
of John
he's the
Stones.
reason why they've pushed John Stones into midfield.
And that's what I was. When they paid 50 million for John Stones earlier, he was a bit raw, making mistakes. I argued with someone that, look, they are not buying John Stones to be the best defender in their team today. They are buying him because they can see that in 5-6 years, John Stones will
He's
be one of
capable
the
of being
best
one of the best
centre-backs.
in the league.
Look at someone like Laporte. They paid a lot of money for him, but look at how we don't see him anymore. Because someone like Nathan Ake has come in, someone we thought has been a backup. Look at Nathan Ake this season.
He's launched a strong comeback this season.
This is a player Chelsea rejected.
And even Ake himself struggled earlier in his life as City. Injuries.
Even Jack
struggled
Grealish,
with form.
They paid a lot of money for him. We're thinking to ourselves, they wasted money.
Yeah.
This season, he's one of the better
he's
left
justified
wingers.
his feet.
I think Rashford and Martinelli have probably been better left wingers this season.
In terms of goals.
In terms of goals,
all-round
production.
But
he's
overall
played
impact.
very well. I think right now you are seeing the 100 million player. So I think, and look at someone like Gundogan. Gundogan was about 25 million.
He was Pep's first player. He was the first player Pep bought.
And you saw Gundogan 25 million. He was a solid player. We saw him very good at Dortmund.
7 years ago.
look at how he's look at Bernardo Silva. He plays wherever you need him to play.
Central midfield, left wing, right wing.
And the thing is, that's why I keep saying that the wealth is part of it. But the fees they pay for these players, other teams in the league can afford these fees. But because of the lack of structure, and the truth is, part of it is Pep Guardiola. That's another part of it. Because he knows that when
he
his players
has total control over transfer.
The way he moves the players.
What's the name of this man? The one who came from Barcelona.
Citi Begrestain.
Yes!
The two of them are like this. They know what they are working. They are working.
I'm sure before the season ends, Chiki knows who Pep wants.
Of course.
And that's the thing. Maybe there's not a specific player. Tell them that, okay, I want a right back. He brings him a list of right backs. They talk about it. He said, okay, on this list, this is who we can get. They probably work. It's not probably say this player and this player only. They kind of, because they've missed out on players.
So I'm saying, like,
they've missed out.
They probably design a profile that they want. They say this is the first choice. If we don't get this guy, we can replace him.
And now let's get into the tactics part. The 4 centre backs they've played. If you see a team playing 4 centre backs, you think it's like Tony Pulis, that is because you want to defend deep and so. Look at these 4 centre backs they are playing. How mobile they are. How they move the ball. John Stones steps into midfield. Yeah. You can see that they can form
had one of his better goal-scoring seasons.
They can move. Look, and I think that's the coach, because he wants players who are versatile. I think that's one of the main things we talk about. We talk about Man City's depth, and the depth is not numbers. It's the fact that it will take 5 or 6 injuries before you see the team collapse. Because even if there's a image, look at someone like Calvin Phillips. I think there are only 3 players. Let me say 2 players that are irreplaceable are Rodri and Kevin De Bruyne. I won't even say Haaland is irreplaceable, because we've seen them win
without a number
9. And we've seen what Julian Alvarez has done this season. They will win. I think if Haaland goes, they lose maybe 10%. If De Bruyne goes, they lose maybe 20%. If Rodri goes, I think that's the player that they cannot replace.
Yeah.
I think that's the one player that is almost irreplaceable.
I think that was the reason why they bought Phillips to come and understudy.
Yeah.
Because from the manner in which Rodri too is playing, I think he's playing too many games.
Yeah.
Can he maintain this level next season? I doubt, if it's not.
But luckily for them, the way their team is, if you have some games against some of the lower teams in the league and Calvin Phillips comes in, I don't think they will struggle. So, and we're talking about stats. They've scored 100 goals at home this season.
All competition.
That's just at home. And if you look, the next highest is 73 or something like that. Like, that's the gap. And this is so this is Bayern, Barca, 100, and the next is 70. So it's like, it's a machine they've built, and it's based on their home form, because in the Champions League, they've not won away since match day 1.
No.
This is very interesting. But at home, they just keep winning and winning. That's why Real Madrid came 4, Bayern 3, Leipzig 7. Anybody you name, when they come to the Etihad,
wrap it up.
They are getting goals. So I think the fact that and that's another thing, the physicality of this current City team is the most we've seen since he came. Because right now, it's like, if you say you want to score via set pieces, good luck with Akanji, Diaz,
Rodri.
All these are imposing centre backs.
Haaland.
Yeah. Imagine trying to win aerial duels at the back. And in the John Stones, sorry, I forgot. Look at how many goals Stones, Ake, Akanji, and they have been scoring from. So I think right now, that's why I have so much confidence going into the Champions League final. I just feel like there's no type of team that can come at them and confuse them. I think they can play all.
They have a profile for every team.
But like we said, it's a final, so anything can happen. But I think they are heavy favorites.
Let's get to the German Bundesliga, where the champions have not been crowned yet. A few twists and turns. There's one more game week to go. Borussia Dortmund, they were up against Augsburg away from home, I believe, yes. And then Bayern Munich were up against RB Leipzig. Leipzig want to complicate life for Bayern. So it means that the Bundesliga will go down to the final. Let's check out the highlights of those 2 games, and then we'll come in studio and discuss. So huge results for Borussia Dortmund there. Big dent for Bayern Munich. Coach, this is what we love to see with the Bundesliga.
Look, after 10 years of absolute dominance, this league deserves better. The Bundesliga. It deserves better. You see, it's a competition. It cannot be one way like that. There has to be times of moments where the other teams will have to make it feel like a competition. And Dortmund themselves, look, they have to be very, very careful not to throw this away on the final last day. Please,
Remember, they have 70 points.
Yeah.
Bayern have 68 points.
That's
All
right.
Dortmund need to do is actually win their game. Just to
and
make
their
it
crown
simple
champion.
and straightforward.
in
But
their
again,
hands,
on
and
the
they are
part of
at
Bayern,
Yeah.
on the part, I was shocked at the first goal they conceded. At the time, Bayern was leading 1-0.
And you throw everyone.
They had a
forward.
set piece.
Yeah.
And you throw everybody forward like that. The last time I saw that was Ole Gunnar Solskjaer coaching Man United in the Europa Cup where United went to Turkey against Başakşehir. You remember?
That
Yeah.
was the Champions League, wasn't it?
I don't know, maybe the
Yeah, it
champion.
was
Yeah.
the champion. That's how they drop down to the Europa League.
Yes.
That they
Istanbul Başakşehir. When you throw all your players forward on the set piece and not thinking that you could lose the set piece and there could be a counter attack. And look, the coach involved, Thomas Tuchel, he's one of the best in the business. Truth be told, this was very, very poor. If he goes back to analyze how Bayern threw this game away, look, he should count himself responsible. He should be blamed. No two ways about that. Because at this level, you don't expect such elementary mistakes from Bayern Munich of all teams. You are leading. If the game ends 1-0, you are on top of the league.
Yep.
So you see, I hate coaches who don't respect the fact when they have a lead. Jose Mourinho, that's one of the reasons why I'm always one of Jose's fans. He just showed again on Thursday that Roma was in the lead going to Leverkusen in that Europa.
There was no need to go
There
in.
was no need. He respected the fact that you need to come and break me down. I'm in the lead. If it ends 0-0, I win the tie. And he won. And how Thomas Tuchel threw this game away. I mean, the hierarchy at Bayern will be looking at him with some strange faces.
I just want to say something small. I'll be very happy if Bayern go through feelers. Because I wasn't happy with the Julian Nagelsmann thing. I think he was treated a bit unfairly because of their personal issues with him. So you bring in Tuchel, and within 2 weeks you're out of the Champions
That's
League and the
Pokal,
Cup.
and then the Champions
And now
League,
you're about to throw away the league. Look, I will have a smile on my face. In fact, I will buy a bottle of champagne if Dortmund
Because
win.
Cologne is a
Because
tough matchup.
It's not even
No,
that.
it doesn't even
Once
matter.
it's not in your hands.
Dortmund
Yeah.
are playing at home. They are playing at home.
Yeah. And
What-
you know the signal you do now.
What?
They will
The
create
yellow-
an unplayable
The
atmosphere.
yellow-
be ready.
Go and win your 10-0 if you want. Win 12-0.
win just one.
We win 1-0 and we take it. Look, and that's the thing. I'll say it here. I didn't trust Dortmund.
Yeah.
I trusted Bayern. Because Bayern don't throw away the lead
Exactly.
very often.
Nope.
This is unprecedented
Yeah,
in the
very.
like in
Very.
the longest time.
This is
the-
crazy.
I've not seen Bayern throw away a title since like 2008, 7.
And the manner in which
which
it
that
was
happened.
done.
Yeah, because that first goal was so naive. And it put pressure on them, which is why the mistakes happened
Yeah.
and they gave away 2 penalties. So I'll be very happy
Yeah.
to see Bayern win the Bayern. Sorry, not Bayern.
Dortmund win the title.
Please.
You know what's
I know,
crazy?
God, I slipped, but don't
let
listen
me
to
just
me.
move on to my final item. But what's crazy is that we all said that Sadio Mane needed to move to Bayern Munich to win a title because that was guaranteed money. That was a guaranteed title. Well, he goes and it looks like Dortmund are about to win the title. Let's finish off with some basketball. The Nuggets are 3-0 up against the Lakers, 108-119. The game ended at the Staples. Jamal Murray absolutely putting on a clinic. So let me take your thoughts on this one. I mean, I thought that they defended home court and it was great, but I expected better from the Lakers. And the fans started leaving the arena before the game ended.
Look, there's 2 factors in this series. Nikola Jokic is one of the best offensive players in the league.
Yeah.
Because usually when you have a 3-level scorer like him, who can score in the paint, mid-range, and 3 points, they are usually smaller players. So this is a 7-footer who is great on all levels. And he's also one of the best playmakers in the league. So he's a complete offensive force. Maybe on the defensive end, he has his weaknesses. But on the offensive end, he's a
I
complete
heard Mike
force.
Malone call him Coach Jokic.
During
his post-game,
if you watch him play, some of the passes he makes is like, to put it in a football term, it's like watching a Rui Costa or a kind of one of the playmakers or the pure number 10.
Yeah, and he's
Thank you.
He's European.
He's just moving the ball.
He's a tactician.
And the second thing is, looking at the LA Lakers, they made a lot of good changes. They've had very good adjustments during the playoffs. Anthony Davis has been great, but no one can stop Nikola Jokic. And the second thing is, unfortunately for them, LeBron James not at full health. I think LeBron James, his foot injury was more serious than he let on. He should have had surgery, But I think because he wanted to play the playoffs, he forgoes surgery
to play.
He's
been limping a bit. And that groin injury is there. The Krodo is there. It's 20 years of basketball.
The truth is, LeBron James is not a good shooter. And Lakers fans are complaining, why does he keep shooting? Yeah. He can't drive. His drives per game is down to 7 a game. Yeah. And LeBron James
his groin is hurting.
LeBron James is literally the best driver of the ball in NBA history, probably. Yep. So when he's driving to the basket, there are very few players better than him. But he can't do it because his foot is not there.
Time is up for the league. Is this a sweep?
It's very possible. But look, I don't...
Gentleman's sweep?
Look, what's the record?
It's never happened before.
Yeah, it's been
Nobody's ever come down from 3-0.
Series, no one has come back from 3-0. If there's anyone who can do it, it's LeBron James. But if he's not at full health...
He's not fit.
So, like I said, if he's not at full health, he is... But I would love to see Denver win their first title, and it would be a testament to Nikola Jokic.
I think it will change the NBA landscape massively for a center who was drafted in the second round from Europe to take his team all the way to the title and win it.
With no All-Stars, by the way. There's no one other All-Star on their team.
Interesting stuff happening. But thank you very much for joining us on the show today. It's been amazing coming your way with Scorecard. My name is Benjamin Nketiah. Thank you, Coach Christopher Animi. Thank you, Susu Graham. Next week, same time, Scorecard will be back on your screens.